Hey, what's going on, everybody? Christian Ballard, Ballard Sports Media, coming at you with a preview video today. And we got this Saturday, just before Halloween. I can't believe we're less than a week out. It is Tuesday, October 25th, 2022, at least as I record this. And we're going to be getting some good preview videos out for you guys this week. And hey, we start out here with Ohio State number 2 and Penn State number 13. This game in Happy Valley, in State College, Pennsylvania. I'll pull this up here. Let's take a look at what we got. All right. So Ohio State comes in undefeated. Penn State coming off a loss. There's a lot I want to say about this matchup and how, one team has the advantage over the other, and we'll get into all of that. But let's dive into some of these stats here. Scoring 49.6 points a game. The Ohio State Buckeyes, compare that. It's not even close to Penn State. They're not doing too bad, but 33 points per game. You look at the defenses, they're fairly even, almost. 14.9, count it 15 points allowed per game. So Ohio State's only allowing 2 scores on average. But they've yet to face an offense like what they'll face this Saturday on the road. That's fair to say, right? They're coming off a win over Iowa. Iowa's got one of the worst offenses in college football. I'm not here to put any team down. I'm not here to throw anybody under the bus. I'm here to state facts. You look at Penn State, got 18.9 points allowed per game. Count it 19. So you could say this, if we were to round these numbers a little bit, Ohio State is a elite and talented offense with C.J. Stroud. They're scoring 50 points a game. They're giving up around 15. Penn State, elite offense, not as elite as what Ohio State has. They're scoring around 33, 34 points a game, and they're giving up 19 points a game. You look at some key players in this game that we could see. The quarterback matchup, of course, is C.J. Stroud, who is a Heisman frontrunner right now, looking phenomenal, 2,000-plus yards, on the money, 70% completion percentage, averaging 10.6 yards per completion. He has taken 5 sacks for a loss of 25 yards this year. He has thrown 4 picks, but he has thrown 28 touchdowns, has looked really, really good. I don't know how this guy got in the conversation this year, but he's been the go-to running back. They still have Travion Henderson, but keep an eye on Mayan Williams. He has 74 attempts, 516 yards, averaging 7.0, call it 7, yards a carry. His longest rushing play of 70 yards, and he's got 9 touchdowns. They kind of have a 2-back system, much like teams like maybe Georgia or Alabama. You know, the elite teams in college football like to use all the talent they got, and there's a lot of key running backs on those teams. You look at Travion Henderson, he has 80 rushing attempts, 474 yards. He averages about 6 yards a carry. That's pretty good. And he's got 4 rushing touchdowns. Emeka Egbuka, Marvin Harrison, Julian Fleming, Cade Stover. These are guys that are on the receiving corps for the Buckeyes in Ohio State that you could hear their names on Saturday. You look at Penn State's offense real quick. Then we'll get into the defenses of this game. And I apologize for not screen sharing the player stats too. But let me do that, actually. Let's we'll go back and forth here. But let's look at Penn State's offensive stats. Um, you got quarterback Sean Clifford. He's been there for what feels like forever. I think he's actually a sixth or seventh year senior. He's got over 1,000 yards, which is really good. He's got a 61 completion percentage. Anyone would kill to have a 60% completion percentage. When you have that in the NFL, even, you're an average, middle of the road quarterback. Um, it's kind of that way in college football too. It doesn't make you a bad quarterback. It doesn't make you an elite quarterback or a great quarterback. Middle of the road. I love Sean Clifford. I do. I love to watch him play. Does he have an NFL future? I mean, maybe he does somewhere. I just don't know where that is. Nicholas Singleton, he's a freshman running back. He's got 561 yards. He leads the team in rushing on the year off 82 attempts, averages 6.8 yards a carry. His longest rushing play is 70 yards, and he has 7 rushing touchdowns. They got a lot of different weapons on the receiving end, but their go to guy is one in Parker Washington, who has 388 yards. He averages about 12.9 yards a catch. His longest play is of 43 yards. The only problem with Parker Washington, he's only got 1 touchdown. He has the most yards. He can be a deep threat. He needs to find the end zone, and I think he'll find the end zone in a game like Ohio State. I think he could. The go-to guys, though, watch Brenton Strange, the tight end for Penn State, who has 17 receptions, 245 yards, but he's tied up with touchdowns at 4 with Mitchell Tinsley, who has 28 receptions, 340 yards, averages 12 yards a catch, and his longest play of 34 yards. They also have Keandre Lambert Smith, Harrison Wallace III, Theo Johnson. What I like is, here's the thing: Penn State is a deep team. They're a deep team. They're really loaded. They have the talent there. They just, I, I think they need to find ways to utilize that talent a little more. Um, like I remember, and I don't try to bring up Alabama in every single video, but I'm going to bring them up here. I remember a few weeks back we were talking with Brock Watson on here, and we were like, "Where has a guy like Ja'Cory Brooks for Alabama been?" Um, there's so much talent at the wide receiver position for Alabama. You can't get everybody you want to out on the field. I think it's the same way with Penn State, though. I mean, you got Keandre Lambert Smith, you got Mitchell Tinsley, Parker Washington. You have so many guys. I mean, they are loaded. They're loaded at the running back position. Kevon Lee, Devin Ford. Their lead guy is freshman Nicholas Singleton, who I just love. He's got 82 rushing attempts and 561 yards. I know we just covered that, 7 rushing touchdowns. Thing about Penn State, they're just loaded, man. They have all this talent. They don't know what to do with it. And you can only have so many guys out on the field at one time. Do they find ways for some of these other receivers to step up against the Buckeyes? Like, if it's not working out, and the secondary of the Buckeyes defense, which has actually been played pretty good so far. Lathan Ransom, the safety, has 29 total tackles. I'll tell you what, this defense of Ohio State is kicking butt right now. They're only giving up 14 points a game, like I mentioned, 14 or 15, give or take. But this is like this is going to be a challenge for Penn State's offense, and they got to find ways to use different players, right? Substitutions. switching it up. You want to use Mitchell Tinsley. You want to use Parker Washington. You want to use Brayton Strange. Then you got to find time for guys out there like Tyler Warren, Theo Johnson, Lambert Smith, Harrison Wallace III. You got to find time to give all these guys playing time on the field this Saturday. My personal opinion. And switch it up. I think if you're Penn State, here's how you get over the hump of beating Ohio State. They haven't done it since 2016, which is weird because that year they had Trace McSorley, great quarterback. They had Trace McSorley in 2016. That was number 2 versus unranked Penn State, and they found a way to pull it off. As a ranked team every year after that, they've lost to the Buckeyes. Now, you could sit there and say the Buckeyes are just a better team. They were a better team in 2016. How many times have we seen an upset in college football? How many times have we seen where the better team has lost the game? There's a chance that Penn State could win on Saturday, right? The crowd, I'm sure, could possibly be packed out. Also, if you want to go to Beaver Stadium, what I'm seeing on ESPN, tickets as low as $82. Carry on. You know, there's a way Penn State can win this game. They got to get off to a good start on offense. I'm talking every drive with Sean Clifford. And it's not going to be easy because the Buckeyes didn't have that good of a defense last year. I mean, it was okay. It's great this year, and they figured some stuff out. It's not going to be easy. But if you could go out there firing on all cylinders, going out there, throwing the football, creating first down situations for the Buckeyes defense, and if you can keep C.J. Stroud on the sideline, basically, I think you have a chance, Penn State. Do not get behind in this game because once Ohio State is in front of you on the scoreboard, they're not going to take their foot off the gas. They're going to keep it going, keep it going, keep it going, and they're just going to keep firing away and putting up big plays. You look at the quarterbacks, too. I don't think we got into it. C.J. Stroud on the year is 133 of 190. He's got over 2,000 yards. He's got 28 touchdowns, 4 picks. Compare that to Sean Clifford. It's not even close. C.J. Stroud's just a better quarterback than Sean Clifford. But Sean Clifford is one of a kind, too. Well, I mean, I don't want to downgrade Sean Clifford and say like he's your average quarterback because I don't think he is. I think he's like a Mac Jones to me. He's systematic and he is definitely a guy that is a product of the talent around him. But he himself, you look at his stats, 13 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, over 1,000 yards, 115 of 187. That's not bad. There's just more offense coming from Columbus than there is from Happy Valley and State College, Pennsylvania. That's fair. Quarterback matchup I mentioned too, by the way, Sean Clifford and C.J. Stroud. I do think it's going to be a close game because I think Penn State is good at home. I'm sure it's going to be a great crowd. I know it's not their whiteout. They just had that. I know it's not going to be a night game. But even in the afternoon, it can still be a challenge for visiting teams. But I got to go with my gut here. Here's my assessment here, and then we'll get to the score prediction. Having Penn State fans in the family, it makes me want to pull for Penn State because it's a family thing. I got Penn State fans all over. I got family up in State College, Pennsylvania. Um, so I will be pulling for Penn State in this game, right? But just because you're pulling for a team in a game, it doesn't mean they're necessarily going to win. Like, I could say, for example, about the Tennessee game going into it, well, I did think Alabama was going to win, but let's say if the chances were slim to none, you could sit there and say, man, I hope Alabama wins the game. But man, I just don't know. I think Tennessee is going to win it. That's how I feel about this game. I hope Penn State wins, but I just don't know. I still think they're a couple recruiting classes away from competing in the Big Ten East for a Big Ten title, and then potentially a playoff berth and all that stuff. I still think they're not far off. Don't get it wrong. They're not far off, but they're not there yet. So they still need some work. I'll go ahead and I'll give a score prediction. I do think it's going to be a one-score game, a close game, but I got to go with the Buckeyes here, and it's not really an upset. Give me Penn State's second loss of the year here. Got to go with the Buckeyes. They improved to 8-0 and on their way to a Big Ten championship, continuing that path, 5-0 in the conference. They're 4-0 right now in the conference, but they'll get their fifth conference win when they beat Penn State. And I say 34-27. By a touchdown. By a touchdown. I think the Buckeyes get it done. I think Ryan Day's going to have his guys prepared. I just think that, and I'm not saying, I'm not going to rule out the possibility of Penn State winning this game. It's absolutely possible because, for all we know, and I don't have the time to look back at it now, but someone remind me, when's the last time they came off a loss, or they are coming off a win? They lost to Michigan, so never mind on that. I was going to say the last time they lost before they played Ohio State, but they did lose at Michigan, 41-17 in a blowout. This is at home. I think it's going to be a closer game than 41-17. The spread is 15 points in favor of the Buckeyes. I think that drops by the end of the week. 61 points. I got that right on the money, it seems like. This is a combined score of 61. Give me that right there. But I'll say this, and I'll get out of here. Ohio State's just the better team. They have the better offense, and that's what you need today in college football is a high-flying offense to be able to put up a lot of points and score in big-time football games. I love you guys. Jesus loves you. Comment your score prediction down below. Please like, comment, and subscribe right here to Ballard Sports Media for more sports content. And until next time, folks, your boy Ballard Sports Media checking out. Love you guys. God bless. And I'll say this from an Alabama fan. Roll Tide. Good luck to both of these teams.